Fight Night Champion. Debuting on 2010, Fight Night Champion offered players a groundbreaking experience like never seen before on a boxing video game. A deep narrated driven story mode where players get the chance to be the protagonist of their own movie. You step into the shoes of Andre Bishop, a boxing superstar in the making who mistakenly gets incarcerated for crimes he didn't commit and then is after for revenge. A story mode where players get taken throughout different levels with objectives to complete in order to advance in the story. Fight Night Champion introduced the Pioneer story mode formula, which is yet to be replicated by another boxing game, first of its kind and innovative.
I lost my youth. I lost my career. I lost my dream. Now what?
Fight Night Champion also offered players a plethora of ways to play the game, from mini-games to improve skills for online battles, to Legacy Mode, where players can guide boxers through their careers from the amateurs to the pros. All of that while being able to customize every little detail to the player's liking. From the gloves, the trunks, the socks, and boots, everything was customizable. And because of that, Fight Night Champion captivated a loyal fanbase throughout the years. But sadly, the game haven't seen a sequel in over a decade. It's been over 15 years since Fight Night Champion released on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, leaving the Fight Night aficionados with one question: what happened to the game? The simple answer is Fight Night Champion didn't live up to expectations. Allegedly, the game sold less copies than previous installments. Fight Night Round 3 sold 3.14 million copies, Fight Night Round 4 sold 2.92 million copies, and Fight Night Champion sold 1.9 million copies. A downward trajectory in sales that forced Electronic Arts to completely stop the production of the Fight Night games. EA Sports saw this as a lack of interest for the product, forcing the company to shift their attention from boxing video games to a different product. Until recently, a small indie company by the name of Steel City Interactive developed and released a new boxing game by the name of Undisputed, and that Undisputed boxing game sold over 1 million copies within 7 days, drawing EA Sports' attention to the point where allegedly now a new Fight Night video game is currently being developed.
I can tell you now, from what I know and what multiple sources have told me, EA is once again working on Fight Night. EA has kept a close eye on Steel City Interactive and Undisputed. They aren't worried about affording licenses, they're worried about the interest in the sales.
But what does that new Fight Night game needs that Fight Night Champion doesn't have in order to be considered a good game? This video will be divided by sections where I go over things that need improvement in order to make the game successful and to resonate with those who play the game. Let's begin with the stand-up. Although Fight Night Champion doesn't lack punch impact or strike satisfaction, it does lack other aspects. Starting from the ground up, footwork needs a major overhaul. One of Fight Night Champion's major problem is footwork. Everyone inside the ring look on skates. Everyone looks like they're skating when they move around inside the ring, especially when boxers are sidestepping. Previous installments on the franchise had better footwork mechanics, like Fight Night Round 3 and Fight Night Round 4. On these games, footwork look how they should, with boxers' feet planted to the canvas, so when they move around inside the octagon, it doesn't look like they're on skates and it looks realistic. For striking, innovation is not negotiable. Mechanics like feints, parries, and block counters should be debuting on this new EA boxing game. Feints like in EA Sports UFC 5 will create a new skill gap within striking and creativity, and block counters and parries as is something that happens in real life in the sport of boxing. But where this new Fight Night can take it a step further would be allowing players to catch punches. Catching punches in boxing is very well known as a defensive tool that turns into offense. Something like this could be called catch and shoot, where defensive players catching punches can retaliate back with counters. That would take innovation a step further. I don't think that has been done on a boxing video game before. A new clinch mechanic where the 3 stages of the clinch work on the game seamlessly. Something like the clinch system from EA Sports UFC 5 would be ideal. Although that system doesn't seem to work for a mixed martial arts video game, it seems to be the perfect fit for a boxing game. For the game modes, bringing back the classics would be ideal to remind the fans they're still playing an EA Fight Night game. Champion mode, with a deep narrated driven story with a boss to face at the end like Isaac Frost. Legacy mode, where players can guide boxers through their careers from the amateurs to the pros, with better cutscenes, post-fight interviews and press conferences, expanding on what Fight Night Champion already has but making it better. Online sparring mode would be groundbreaking, allowing players to learn how to play the game together while keeping things competitive and fun. For the roster, there needs to be boxers from different eras to satisfy each audience, the casuals and the hardcore boxing fans. Another problem with Fight Night Champion was the roster. The game had 54 licensed boxers plus made up characters from the story mode to fill up the roster. The new Fight Night game needs a bigger roster of licensed boxers, and that's not negotiable. For the game features, game chat, crossplay, and a replay mode would be ideal. These are some of the things I believe that new Fight Night needs in order to be successful. There's a lot more I could say, but that right there was a good start. What I will say though, depending on what name they choose to name that Fight Night, I think that's how the game will play, right? If they go with round 5, I think they will go more simulation, and if they go champion 2, I think it will be more arcadey. But if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. It really helps out with the algorithm. It was your host King Diaz, and thank you for watching.